Hey everybody, welcome to Both Sides of the Fence. This is episode number 1. I'm Jennifer Mccentire and my co-host,
Derek Mccance.
Yep, thank you guys for joining
us today. We're excited.
Yeah, absolutely. Full disclosure, this is the second time we've done this episode. We're newish podcasters, okay. Right? Which is a good thing because I think we learn something new every time.
Absolutely. Yeah. And we had a good dress rehearsal.
Yeah, so. We did. Absolutely. Yeah. So in an effort to kind of create this first episode, the premise behind it was really to kind of give you guys a little bit of background about ourselves. And so you know why we chose to do the podcast, a little bit about who we are as individuals. So we thought the best way to do that was really to start, telling a little bit about what we do right now, who we are now, and what we do. Do you want to start?
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, Jen. So first, just thank you for doing this with me. I'm so excited. And we'll get into that later. But as you know, and some of you will know, I got married to my husband about almost 10 years ago. Wow, that was horrible.
He skipped 4 years, guys.
Yeah, sorry. And he works for us. So 10 years, we opened a salon together, King's Rising Hair Salon, which has, of course, like any small business, a lot of ups and downs. But
in Carnegie, PA.
Yes, and more ups than anything, and it's something we're so proud of. We also
Do you call it Carnegie or Carnegie?
Carnegie,
okay,
but I do kind of like that fast Carnegie, the Carnegie. And then we decided through that, and we'll get into the depths of this later, but we have our nonprofit with Love from Susie, which connects fur babies to kids and adults that have been sexually assaulted. So we're really, really proud of that because I think there's always a space for that at the table. And we love our fur babies. That's our whole world. And we're quite boring humans other than our travel.
He's missing out on like half of what he does, right? Because
I do,
he works in the pageant circuit. You've got a lot more than what you're actually letting on. He's very involved in the local community
here. She thinks she knows me so well.
I do.
She does. That's why she's here. No, I did female impersonation for years.
Yeah.
Currently, I don't do it, but it was a significant part of my life. I'm very proud to say that I was a multi-pageant holder, title holder.
And you're still involved in that world.
And I am, but more of a hobby now because it's very expensive to do it full time. Family, I think what me and you both also have in common, family is everything to me. Boundaries, of course, as you get older, but I've learned to live life, if that makes sense right now.
Yeah.
And enjoy moments instead of necessarily planning so far ahead. I want to live in the moment.
And he's a kick butt event coordinator too.
Oh,
just so you guys know.
Thank you. Florals too. Yeah. I do florals too.
There's a lot of stuff that'll come out.
And more throughout the time. There's so much. And that's part of the reason why we're here. Yeah. Because we are two incredible people that have worked very hard to get where we are.
100%.
So I want to hear a little bit about you, enough about me.
Yeah, so I I work in the oil and gas sector. I have for a very long time, various different facets of it. I'm a mom. That's my number one most important job. I have an 18-year-old daughter and a 29-year-old son, so I'm telling my age.
Which hint, you'll get to meet her soon. Her daughter, she's incredible. You guys will love her.
She's going to be in one of the episodes. She's joining us for one of the episodes. I'm super proud of both of my kids. They're very, very accomplished, both of them. My son is a child protective services worker in Weirton, West Virginia. And my daughter is graduating this year.
I can't believe it.
I know. So we're involved in all of that as well. Dealing with all of the kind of senioritis is starting to come. Yeah. I just ordered my signs for our front yard, so I'm super excited. She is captain of her rugby team, so I'm a rugby mom. I'm very involved in that. And then I do a lot of advocacy for the industry, for females in the industry, for oil and gas as its importance to our country. I have been involved in local politics on the Republican side for quite some time, in and out of that. And then I also do some public speaking as well. When I'm particularly moved by an issue, then I will stand up and talk about it.
Something I do want to go off on that real quick. for those of them that don't know, Women's Energy Network, aka WEN, is part of who I met you through with a mutual dear friend of ours. And you did this program with Boots. And the first time I saw it was at a fashion show, Dress for Success.
Dress for Success.
Yes. Yep. And you raised money for women in the field because the boots are so expensive.
Yeah.
That it really gives them a heads up with their future employment and employers to say, like, I'm prepared, I'm ready.
Yes.
Because yes, guys, women do go out in the mud and the dirt and the field. It's not just men, okay?
There's a lot more of us than you.
I'm dying to go out. I'm still trying to go out. But
we'll get you out there somehow.
I know. It's gonna happen.
Yeah.
So sorry to interrupt. I just wanted, because that was one of the things that first inspired me to get to know you, was giving just so flawlessly like that, because that's what I love to do.
Mm-hmm.
And
that's definitely something that can.
And what I think the number was like in the 70 range. I think at the end of that 70.
We've given hundreds of pairs.
But in that one moment, it was over 70 boots that you were able to acquire for women, which is just incredible. So sorry, go ahead, continue.
No, I mean, that's pretty much it, right? That's me in a nutshell. I mean, just like you, there's probably loads of things I'm forgetting. But yeah, that's my day to day right now, really. And I have my 2 dogs too. So we're both dog lovers.
We are totally dog lovers. Yes. But I don't love human children.
When we were doing this and kind of setting up for this episode, both of us took time to write our bios because there's a lot of gaps. You don't talk about all of the stuff that brings you to where you are, even though you're friends for a long time.
Wow, is it a lot? Okay.
Yeah, exactly. I think what really surprised me is how similar our backgrounds were growing up. You want to share some of that? Yeah,
I just think, we were talking earlier, I think that our bios really, although at first when we discussed it, we said, wow, they are quite depressing, right? In the moment, it really looks like that. But I think that those issues, those things we went through, and not everything was bad, right? There was beautiful links of gorgeous glitter and light through it. But I think for me and you, all of that trauma that we experienced as child, teen, young adulthood turned us into, these beautiful things that we are today. For me, I think looking back at it, I feel I can name a couple of things that really have just inspired me to push me.
Well, before we go there, let's talk about the fact that we were both raised in trailer parks.
Oh, yes. Oh, sorry. Yes.
Right?
Absolutely. We come from a very rural background as far as rural. We did not have much money.
He's constantly begging to come and ride side by sides with me.
I know, literally. like you can't listen. It don't matter what you are, what you see, or what you believe. You can't take the country out of the boy. It's just there, no matter what.
Blue collar dads.
Hardworking.
Yeah.
I mean, we knew what it was like to get, have food banks and shelters and churches help and assist family member, our families. Just
a lot of responsibility, I think, too, growing up. I had a lot of responsibility. Looking back on it now, I'm like, holy crap, I would never let my 12-year-old daughter do that or whatever.
No, but it was
part of it was different.
And we didn't have social media or Facebook or content. I mean, I was like flabbergasted when MySpace came out. Do you remember MySpace?
Listen, I had dial-up internet, okay?
Yes, AOL.
Yes, very different now.
That. I mean, it was insane. And now, so we had to create entertainment but also it gave me more time with family. So I learned how to respect others, have empathy for others, understanding communication. Yeah. I knew what a real argument looked like, and not through a screen, but in person, working it out,
conflict
even if it was
resolution.
Hard. Yeah. I mean, all of those things that is why you definitely see how me and you adapt differently and have adapted differently than the Z generation. There's so many lists of them I can't even.
It's just strange though, right? That we came from such similar backgrounds, okay? With all of the things that we mentioned, and we did have the trauma. I moved a lot growing up. I mean, a lot.
Oh my gosh, so much.
You had a lot of upheaval when you were growing up too.
I mean, in facilities, a future thing to go into detail, but from trauma but again, whether you were that similar for me is moving so much, it separates a family and divides them because of all the chaos constantly. You're never feeling confident. You're never in one place.
Yep.
You can never garnish friendships
or different. Yes.
You know, and
no
for
stability.
me, I was in facilities due to sexual trauma of my past, something that me and you have both been able to relate on. And because of that, it's a different environment, a different culture, but the experience of the trauma, it still hits you the same.
Absolutely.
And again, I think that that's definitely something that, again, has brought me to this moment, just like I feel that it has for you. 100%. What would you say are a couple things, since we've been talking about our similarities, what would you say are a couple things for you that have gotten you to your presence, the way you think, act, and your outlook on just everyday things, not like politics specifically or any specific, just who Jen Mcintyre is now?
Absolutely. And this kind of occurred, full disclosure, when we wrote these, we both looked at them and were like, this is really depressing stuff. How did we end up so nice and chipper and like positive?
You know.
And I really started to think about it, and I prayed on it, and I was driving around from location to location today, and I was like, okay, so all of this stuff happened to me, but if I really were to pinpoint like 2 instances in my life that really made a difference to who I am, they are my dad and the care that my dad gave me after he and my mom separated. They did get divorced when I was like 3 or 4 years old. My dad fought for custody of me, which he was the first stepdad to ever win custody of a child in the state of Pennsylvania.
Wow.
He went on for another kind of landmark case in the future, which I'm sure we'll get into at some point. But my dad was absolutely wonderful, and it breaks my heart that we don't have the same relationship for various reasons that we did then now, but that still doesn't change the fact that without him, raising me as a little girl, he's absolutely my hero, and he 100% had a huge impact on who I am today.
Yeah.
And then the second one is my stepmom. When I was a teenager, I truly feel that she saved me for various reasons that we've already kind of alluded to, that we'll cover in future episodes. But had she not been in my life, I definitely wouldn't be the person that I am now. She was diagnosed with cancer when I was 13, and I was the oldest of the kids in the family. So I was there when she kind of went through that. I have never seen a woman carry such hardship with so much grace than I did my mom. And she was sick all the time. She felt bad all the time.
I have to say though, it's a rarity in just love and support to your mom. God rest, your son, God rest her beautiful soul. But there is an excitement to somebody that is going through such a horrible disease that has such a positive outlook on life, because you don't see that very often. You know about my Aunt Sandy, briefly, who has terminal brain cancer, and I thank you, but you know what? I'm blessed to have her. I mean, she's lived almost 13 months past the time now, and you would never know to meet that woman. She provides more care to everybody around her than herself. She does it with happiness, and she should be like a spokesperson, because you don't see it. It just destroys the human.
It does.
There's a special angel inside people like that,
100%.
And like your stepmom, to be able to say, I want to live my life till the very end, period.
And she saw me graduate. She lasted long to see me graduate. She passed a couple of months after I graduated. And for like 5 or 6 years after she left, we kept finding things she hid around the house.
Are you serious?
She hid stuff in the Christmas decoration boxes.
Oh my gosh.
She was absolutely an amazing human being. And I would not be who I am today without her presence in my life. So 100% God gave her to me for the period of time that I had her here. So those were my 2 things. So out of all of the crap, I have these 2 wonderful positive experiences with people that loved me.
Do you see a lot of yourself in the 2 of them? Looking back, just as your character, your personality?
I would hope and pray that I could be half the woman that my mom was. And that's something that I strive to be as selfless like her every single day. She had it on another level quite clearly because of what she went through. But I hope that I get there a little bit at least.
I think she'll be proud that you're sitting here today.
I hope so.
I mean,
I hope so. So I told my 2.
I know, okay.
Do you have 2?
I do, actually 3, if that's okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
My first one is my grandmother, Jean.
Is your grandma still with us?
No,
Okay,
unfortunately
I'm
she's
sorry.
not. Thank you. And it's still hard.
It never leaves you.
Yeah, it doesn't. Listen, I'm just gonna say it. She had there's a big family, but I was her favorite. I'm still her favorite. Okay, she's in heaven and still drinking that cranberry vodka and saying I'm still her favorite. But sometimes people don't have to do much to be your hero. And what I mean by that is I was in a time where I was going through the sexual assault. I was going through then coming out of being, in the LGBT community, being outwardly gay, which is 2005, mind you. The
we're
world
gonna
is
get into
way
all
different,
of
and we'll get
that,
into that
yeah.
a different day, but she was present. And if that makes sense at all,
It does.
what I mean by just that unconditional feeling of love. I, to this day, can't tell you if my grandmother ever actually disagreed with who I was, because she never said it to me.
Yeah.
And those were moments in life when I felt like giving up. She used to say to me all the time that I was a beautiful disaster. And I used to ask her what that meant. She said, one day, honey, you'll understand. And now I look again going forward and I see my life was going to be a disaster for a while, but it was going to turn out beautiful. And the fact that I got to register that older. So for her, I will ever be in debt to that lady. And I still am. And I work every day to still make her proud. And then Zusi, which is, sorry, this is newer for me. So I lost him, as you know, just under 2 years ago. And everybody finds something to deal with something, right? You either have to or you let it consume you.
Yeah.
And I had a counselor tell me, you need to get a dog. And I said, well, I can't really afford that. My life's a mess. And she said, do it. Well, she ended up paying for half of the
I
bill
didn't
for
know
me.
that.
Yeah. And I got him and he changed my life. Sometimes when you're in just such a dark place, you every day just waking up consumes your energy.
Sure.
And it started with, I had something I had to take care of. Like I knew if I didn't take care of this baby, that he wouldn't survive. And it was so important because it was my first lesson in feeling what unconditional love looked like. My life started changing, truly changing in that moment. And then I had one deep, darker hill, but he was always constant for me, and which is the premise of the nonprofit that I have. So he definitely was a leading factor for me being here. And yes, I know it's an animal, but if you open up, if you're truly willing to open, I call them earth angels. I believe that God has put animals on this planet to heal us because there's nothing more addictive than unconditional love. It's just, it's so pure. And then my third thing is my parents. When we get into a deeper, and I want to say this now because when we get to the future, the podcast could be very easy when we talk about these past experiences that people could look a certain way to my parents. But one thing that I can say that I love the most about the two of them is they've taught me patience. And that we don't cycle things the same way in our brains. Just because I'm going through the personal trauma and my parents aren't, doesn't mean that they weren't struggling internally and deeply, because you have to remember they went from, my parents both conservative like yours in certain ways, especially in rural communities. LGBT was not really, there wasn't,
worry about
and then
what their
back
friends
then,
are gonna think,
and
what
they
other
were,
families are gonna think.
and then they were grown also into believing in that from generation to generation. Nobody was breaking that. And my dad went from being completely against it to showing up to 2 female impersonation shows. Something that 10 years ago he refused to even acknowledge. My mom finding her voice, which I think helped my dad because she got to a point to where, what are we doing? This is our son. And then I was young and naive. My point in saying that is I can take ownership of my immaturity because I was an adolescent. I was young, and all I saw was I couldn't change. There was no way for me to get anybody to love me because I couldn't change that part of me. And it was debilitating for that to happen to me. But as the years go on, there's a lot of families out there that still don't.
Or haven't healed like
you
yours
can attest
did.
on a different day, but we've had intimate conversations. You've had somewhat of an experience in this. And the fact that my parents, with understanding, love, admiration for me, and seeing my strength and how I was surviving so much, and then slowly coming back to the table and saying, you know what, we're here.
Mm-hmm.
That in itself kept pushing me, because what it taught me is, wow, there's things like that I've gone through in my life that I was like that. It may not have been about being gay, but wow, they're no different than me, and I'm no different than them. I've made mistakes in my life, and they loved me through those mistakes. And this thing that I can't control, they struggled with. But how is that not fair to hold them to a standard and me not? So what it taught me is just understanding, empathy, love, and patience. And just because it doesn't come right then when you want it, doesn't mean that it won't.
Yeah.
And I think taking that journey, I love my parents more than I ever did before, because now I look back and I'm thinking, wow, they were going through hell. I mean, true hell too.
Mm-hmm.
And then to go through shelters, facilities, doctors, everybody telling you what to do when you don't have any knowledge.
Yeah.
And then it's seeing them live in their self-guilt, beating themselves up even after the acceptance, because deep down they know, as a parent, I'm sure any mistake that you felt you ever made with Nayeli, you hold it, and it takes years probably, I would think, to get over something like that, because you just continue to feel that.
I don't think you ever get over something like that.
And so for my parents, just again, that's, I think, and they're the third thing that's got me here, because I've seen, and my dad and my mom, just, you know what it's like. They've been through so much, being a blue collar family. They've taught me what survival looks like.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, and I'm sitting here today because I understand what survival is. And so those are my three things.
I love them. So lesson learned, we're getting tissues for Derek.
Yeah, I know. Jen, listen, our goal is each season we got to get Jen to just ball one time, just once, so we can even that out a little
tough
bit.
And I don't know what to say.
But that's okay. That. We all need one of those tough cookies at the table.
So we picked like the positive things in our backgrounds that kind of really formed part of who we are. And I know there's been a heck of a lot more as adults that have kind of gone into that too. But let's talk about why we're actually doing this podcast.
Yeah.
I think that's
Do you want to start?
important.
Do you want me to?
No, I want you to start.
Yeah, me to start? Yeah. So, before even bringing it to your attention, again, it's so crazy because this all goes back to our history, what we've been through, why we are sitting here. And I want people to learn how easy it is to love a human. Just a human sitting right next to you at the table. We don't have to look the same. We don't have to speak the same. We don't have to love the same way or love the same human. But just understanding what empathy and love can look like and coming together to make change. When I was growing up, I wasn't in politics. I wasn't in any of that. My dad loves that stuff, but I was not. I was an artist and wanted to be outside, but I felt growing up safer. Even when I was going through, I still felt safer. I felt more of a universal connection with my country. And as I went through things, you have to remember, I was going down parade marches when people were it was a whole separation, this side of the country on this street, and then LGBT. And then as you get older, you start to go through different experiences. And I have just never felt, for me personally, I personally have not felt a darkness that I do now. And it's not just politics. It's everything. It's everything. Yeah. It's religious hatred, using religion as a way to give a justified excuse to use it as a weapon to harm people that aren't doing anything but being who they are. Government that is a big premises of our podcast. That frankly, at this point, I really am disappointed in all of them. At the end of the day, I wake up every day doing my job. and they're not doing theirs, and it bothers me. It bothers me that I see loved ones around me struggling every single day to feed their families. It bothers me that I have to wake up coming from so much rights as a gay man being married to my husband, that there's a fear that that could change in the future. I'm not saying it will, but it could, because we have allowed so much hatred. And when hatred becomes normal, I think it's a death sentence. We see it all the time in other countries. But it's not just one human. It takes several handfuls of people to start creating that and spreading that disease and that poison.
It's the majority now. That's what's scary.
And
it's not the minority anymore.
And for me, it goes back to being a fighter. I'm not scared. I've seen darkness. And you can attest to this. So things don't scare me the same way that they scare others. And my point is because it scares others, I want to stand up and be the voice for the ones that can't.
100%.
And I want to do it for everyone out there, not just people of a certain side.
Yeah, I agree.
Like I said, we may not agree on everything, but one thing that we do agree in is just humanity. And if you're a good person, you deserve to be loved, period, point blank. And I want to let people know that they may not have a voice, so we'll have one for them. And that's why I wanted to do this. I wanted to spew so much, excuse me, I almost said that word, damn love that people are going to start puking it. And because that's what we need. And we had it. It exists and it can exist here again. And I believe it will, if people like me and you continue to stand up 100%. And do what's right.
I agree. So,
so tell me, why did you decide to do this with me?
And like I said before, I would, if I had to label myself, which with time going on, I really would prefer not to have a label at all. But if I had to, I would say that I am on the conservative side for sure. And I have been involved politically. And that definitely opened my eyes as well, that experience.
Which, by the way, I'm sorry to interrupt you, because this is important. You're conservative. You recognize yourself. I know we don't like labels, but you do recognize voting as Republican.
I do.
I do want to say this. I want to say this to all of you out there. There's a lot of people on the other side that love a Republican conservative woman, man, because it's just important to say that, because I just feel that a lot of people are scared for other reasons. No, I know that, but we're here in it together and we do love each other.
Yes.
And I just wanted to make that very clear, because that's, again, why we're here.
Yeah, absolutely. But I mean, that experience definitely opened my eyes to both sides and how much hatred internally amongst themselves and towards each other that they had, which was mind-blowing to me. And then life experiences of my own that I've dealt with intimately with my own kids, within my own family, which have tested maybe the way that I was raised or what my previous conceptions were about what was right and what was wrong. And things just started to become a little bit more gray for me.
Yeah.
And on top of that, seeing my daughter go through public school, kids don't have the ability to debate anymore. You're not allowed to argue with somebody and come to some sort of resolution or decide that you both disagree and that you're still going to stay friends. Just doesn't exist. And that was the premise that our country was built on, was everybody getting together and talking about things and deciding what the median path was so that we could all move forward successfully as a country. And then I met you and your husband, which I have other friends who are from the gay community. I absolutely adore you guys, but it's not what I see when I look at.
Exactly. That's just one part of who we are. Just like
it's a really small part of who you are.
Honestly, absolutely.
You know what I mean? Yeah. It's just a small part of who you are. And I thought more and more and more that it was so important that we start openly talking about both what our personal positions are and why, but to each other and then to other individuals, to let them have their voice. Maybe learn something, maybe change your mind, maybe not, and that's okay. It's okay if that's what happens.
Absolutely.
And so that's what this podcast is really about, right?
Absolutely. And I got to get my girl, okay?
Again?
Because this is what you do for your girlfriends, okay? You don't let them sit like that, okay?
I appreciate it.
Yeah, it's because I love you, okay? So again, I really want to thank you, because
I want to thank you.
And thank you for saying thank you. But really, because again, we are living in a polarizing time, and right now people are scared to do this.
Yes.
And it takes courage
Mm-hmm.
and a desire to be selfless, because putting yourself out there like that, both of us putting ourselves out there like that, it's deep and it's real, and we are creating at our most core, vulnerable, letting the world know who we are.
And that's okay.
And I'm excited about it, frankly.
Me too.
I am. So is there any, you know what? I do want to do one more thing.
Here we go. Okay.
Tell me one thing about yourself that almost everybody would be shocked about.
I don't know. I'm pretty open. So I'm like brutally open.
Yeah, me too.
About most stuff. So I don't know if there's a great deal that's like hidden about me. And I think more of that kind of stuff might come out in the podcast.
Yeah,
like,
that's true.
I hunt. I don't know, what's unusual about me.
I mean,
but you're going to expect that.
Yeah.
Oh, wow, she's conservative and likes guns.
Well,
Really?
I mean, you've already told them that I like dirt and mud and to ride on four-wheelers. That would probably be surprising.
Yeah,
to
there
most,
you go.
Okay. So with that being said,
yes.
How do you feel? First episode.
I'm excited. I'm super excited. I can't wait for you guys to join us for what we have coming up. We already have a couple of episodes kind of in the books, ready to come out.
Yeah.
I think they're all absolutely amazing. We have more to film shortly.
Yeah.
First episode's coming out April 27th.
Yes, at 9 a.m.
9
I'm
a.m.
pretty sure. I will still be sleeping.
I will not, because I'm up at 4:30 every
She will
morning.
be in the dirt and mud. Okay. Do you have anything else that you want to do?
No. Just thank everybody for joining us. I'm looking forward to it, and I love you.
And I love you too. And please, everybody, on behalf of us, please make sure to love one another out there. I know it's not always easy, but love goes a long way, and it just makes us feel better about ourselves. Okay. Yeah. So with that, welcome to Both Sides of the Fence. I'm Derek.
I'm Jen.
And we love you.
Love you. See you later.
Bye, guys.